It was late, far past midnight. After a heavy meal of forest fruits, my stomach rebelled and I needed to relieve myself. I grabbed a flashlight and ventured into the pitch-black bush. That's when I saw them, figures moving between the trees. There were a lot of them, men and women, and they weren't alone. The Sambisa villagers had captives. Strangers, bound and terrified, with tears streaming down their dirt-streaked faces. There were men with guns and others with knives gleaming under the moonlight. I could feel my heart pounding against my ribcage. I had to hide. I crouched low, barely breathing, watching them move deeper into the forest. It was like they were drawn to something, a place I had never dared to visit. The air seemed to thicken as we approached. Then I saw it. A strange tree looms ahead, taller than the others, its branches twisted unnaturally. Tentacle-like leaves hang down, almost touching the forest floor. They called it the tepe. It was unlike any tree I'd ever seen. Its trunk was gnarled and its leaves seemed to writhe as if they were alive, moving slowly even though there was no wind. I felt a chill crawl down my spine. Something about that tree was horribly wrong. Men began chanting. One of the villagers climbed the tree. He reached into a hollow and a thick, dark liquid oozed out. He drank it and his face twisted into a manic grin. That's when the tree seemed to awaken. The tentacle-like leaves moved, like serpents striking their prey. The captives were pushed toward the tree, their screams muffled as the leaves gripped them, wrapping around their bodies until they disappeared. All I could see were the leaves, gripping and squeezing. All I could hear were the screams. The tree swallowed them whole, like a monstrous dark flower closing around its prey. I was frozen in fear. I felt my stomach churn, my legs trembling as I watched in horror. The screams died out, one by one, leaving nothing but silence, and the rustling of those cursed leaves. The villagers, as if nothing had happened, simply turned and left. The men with guns followed, their faces emotionless, like they'd just completed a mundane task. I stayed hidden until they were out of sight. The air was thick with the smell of decay, and I could feel the weight of what I had just witnessed pressing down on me. I knew I had to leave. At first light, I ran. I left behind my notes, my equipment, everything. All I wanted was to get as far away from that cursed place as possible. 30 souls lost for gold. 30 people swallowed by a monster that was supposed to be just a tree. I still have nightmares. I still see those leaves wrapping around their bodies, hear the muffled screams as they were consumed. And I still wonder, how many more have fed the tepe since I left? Later, I found out the truth. The villagers believed that sacrificing to the tepe would bring them gold. They traded human lives for wealth, feeding the tree with blood to ensure their prosperity. The village fell into darkness, its streets swallowed by the chaos of ruthless kidnappers and merciless bandits. Sometimes gold is not worth the price. The last whisper I heard spoke of it as the heart of terror, the jihadist Boko Haram's stronghold, where the innocent Chibok schoolgirls were hidden away after that fateful night of kidnapping in April 2014. What horrors have unfolded since then? What has become of the village, its people, and their shattered lives? I can only hope the villagers have found some light amidst the despair. But tell me, what have you heard about the haunted depths of Sambisa Forest lately? Share your thoughts. I want to know if the shadows are still creeping, or if there's any hope left at all.